or tune it in the sun. This is TFM. Get ready to rock. From AM to PM. Come on. Let's talk.
TFM 95.4.
Let's talk.
Live on TFM and the TFM Facebook page. This is the live feed of TTV. Let's talk.
Hello and welcome to the Midday Update. These are the top headlines from our news desk today. Switzerland removes Oman from quarantine list recently. Oman set to reopen airports. Oman Air ready to resume operations in the country. Tourism activity in Oman will resume with precautions in place. Supreme Committee allows Oman Football Association to conduct competitions. No more subcontracts for expats workers in the Sultanate. Oman witnessing rise in cystic fibrosis disease. 5 more flights added under Phase 6 of Vande Bharat mission for Oman. Global COVID-19 deaths surpassed 880,000 according to Johns Hopkins University. COVID-19 pandemic takes a toll on Kuwaiti banking sector. These were the top headlines, but let's see how the weather in the country looks like today in our weather update.
This is your daily dose of weather with me, Antara Bose. I'm standing outside the TFM studio in Al Khair and it's a sunny day. But before we give you more weather updates, here is the daily tip. We're talking about watermelons. Watermelon is supposed to be the hydration hero because it is such a great summer fruit. Why? Because it has lycopene, which helps protect skin cells from sun damage, especially during summer. Not just that, it helps curb your hunger, keeps you full and keeps you cool and hydrated. So, you know what to shop next time. Now let's see what the weather is like in Muscat. Oman Meteorology and Public Authority for Civil Aviation have not dropped the weather alert yet, which means there will be a reduction in horizontal visibility during fog. Apart from this, we've got partly cloudy to cloudy skies along the Dhofar coastline and adjoining mountains. The rest of the Sultanate will see clear skies with the possibility of cloud formation over the Al Hajar mountains. With that, let's take a look at what the weather is going to be like in the rest of the governorates.
Shop, play and win. Purchase Laknor products worth 2 Oman Riyals from Rafiq.om or through the app and win 3 iPhones and 3 PlayStations every week. Rafiq, you order, we deliver.
Welcome back to TTV. You're watching Midday Update. Now, before we get in details of the local news, let's see how the COVID-19 situation stands off as today. On Monday, September 7th, the Ministry of Health had registered 256 new coronavirus cases and 6 deaths in the country. The total cases in the country has now touched 87,328, including 82,805 recoveries and 734 deaths, according to Ministry of Health. In the past 24 hours, according to officials, 399 recoveries were reported. The ministry has urged everyone to adhere to social distancing instructions issued by the Supreme Committee and the Ministry of Health, as well as staying at home and not going out unnecessary. Switzerland has decided to remove Oman from the list of countries that quarantine the mandatory quarantine upon arrival starting from September 7th. The countries and areas with a high risk of infection are set down in the COVID-19 Ordinance on International Passenger Transport Measures. This list is regularly updated, according to Swiss health authorities said on Monday. As of September 7, 2020, Belgium, El Salvador, Eswatini, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Luxembourg, Mexico, and Oman are no longer in the list, according to the statement issued by the Swiss health authorities. Now from a local desk, Oman will reopen its airports starting from October 1st, 2020, announced the Supreme Committee tasked with the responsibility to control the spread of COVID-19 in Oman. Flights will be scheduled as per the health data for the specified destinations and according to the bilateral agreements with other airlines, added the Supreme Committee. The Supreme Committee held a meeting on Monday, chaired by Sayyid Hamoud bin Faisal Al Busaidi, Minister of Interior, Chairman of the committee, in the presence of other members of the committee. They reviewed the follow-up measures taken for this pandemic and steps taken to avoid its spread. The Supreme Committee blessed the general framework prepared by the Ministry of Education to operate schools in the Sultanate during the academic year 2020-2021 in light of the ongoing coronavirus pandemic, which includes executive procedures and the work mechanisms, plans, and documents to ensure quality and comprehensiveness education for all students in the Sultanate. Based on the presentation of the students' interest and health considerations, the Supreme Committee will continue to evaluate the health data related to the educational process in the Sultanate schools and will take appropriate decisions according to those data. In addition to that, the Sultanate's national carrier Oman Air has also issued a statement stating that it is prepared to resume the scheduled flights from Oman to all destinations around the world starting from October 1st. In a statement issued, Usama Al-Haremi, Senior Manager of Corporate Communications and Media at Oman Air, said the airline will take complete precautionary measures while restarting the operations. In compliance with the decisions of the Supreme Committee, Oman Air is preparing to resume its scheduled operations as of early October by taking care of the precautionary measures to which the company is committed to. The national airline has set up an enormous plan to restart its operation to many destinations around the world, he added. Tourism activity in the Sultanate will resume in conjunction with the measures taken to ease restrictions on many economic activities, the Oman News Agency said. An asset manager at Umran Group said that the group's hotels have taken all precautionary measures related to COVID-19 to ensure the safety of guests and workers at the hotel facilities. In a statement to Oman News Agency, he indicated that Umran Group, the executive government arm for the development of the tourism sector in the Sultanate, has launched a new version of its tourism campaign in Oman aimed at stimulating local tourism by encouraging citizens and residents to reside in hotel assets and resorts of the group. The Supreme Committee has also approved the plans submitted by the Oman Football Association for the launch of the 2020-2021 season without spectators. Referring to the condition that has taken place with the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Youth, the Omani Football Association is pleased to announce that the Supreme Committee has allowed the completion of the Oman Football Association 2019-2020 season and the start of the 2020-2021 sports season to resume with necessary precautionary measures, a statement issued by the Oman Football Association said. Expatriates in Oman can no longer be hired on subcontracted loans as the Ministry of Labour aims to prioritize these for Omani job seekers. The ministry will also devise new policies to help hire researchers who can contribute their experience to those sectors that require them. In a meeting held by Nasser bin Amr Al-Hosni, the Under-Secretary of Labour for the Ministry of Labour, which was attended by more than 30 human resources officials from the fields of banking, finance and currency exchange companies, it was made clear that subcontracting of expatriate employees was to be discontinued for the foreseeable future so as to provide more employment opportunities to Omanis seeking employment. During the meeting, plans were also aired to replace existing expatriate workers with local employees with companies as to train Omani nationals with the skills required to do their jobs properly. Cystic fibrosis disease in Oman, known as CF, is a recessive genetic disease affecting children due to a genetic defect inherited from both parents carrying the same infected gene. This physiological defect results in thick and sticky mucus that accumulates all over the body, which causes a blockage in the tubes and channels, especially in the lungs and pancreas. Dr. Sumaya Alaremi, Senior Consultant and Head of the Pediatric Respiratory Cyst Unit at the Royal Hospital, pointed out that this disease is being diagnosed at a very early age due to symptoms onset during childhood. She also added that the disease may get worse and lead to respiratory failure and death. CF is most common in the Caucasian societies and rare among Asian people. More than 2,000 gene mutations are linked to this disease. The number of cases infected with cystic fibrosis is significantly increasing annually in the Sultanate. The disease is being diagnosed due to the advanced level of medical staff and devices in the Royal Hospital and Sultan Qaboos University Hospital, a statement issued by the Royal Hospital said. Since 2006 to date, infected cases number 224 and 51 deaths have occurred till the time of writing this report. 122 patients are undergoing treatment at the Royal Hospital. The gene mutations in the Sultanate have been defined and 19 unknown genes responsible for this disease have been found. Therefore, it is important to conduct premarital screening in order to reduce the infection of this disease in the Sultanate, the doctor pointed out in the report. The Indian government has decided to add 5 more flights to India from Oman in Phase 6 of Vande Bharat mission. Changes, if any, to the schedule will be announced by the Indian Embassy. The passenger list for all flights will be finalized by the Embassy on the basis of information received by it. Passengers are requested to provide details and confirmation to travel on a particular flight on the online form floated by the Embassy for Vande Bharat mission Phase 6. All such people will be contacted by Air India directly for booking their tickets. The passengers, after registering on the online form, may also approach Air India offices in Rui and Vathaiya by the name National Travels General Sales Agent for Air India directly to book tickets on first-come, first-service basis. However, priority will be given to medical emergency cases, pregnant women, workers in distress, senior citizens, as well as to other Indian nationals who are stranded in difficult situation. The flight schedule for Vande Bharat Phase 6 mission is as follows. 15 September, the flight will be taken off from Oman to Hyderabad. 16 September from Oman to Mumbai. 19 September, once again from Oman to Delhi. 20th September from Oman to Chennai. And lastly, 23rd September from Oman to Bangalore. It's time for a quick commercial break, but stay tuned as we have more updates coming your way from our international desk.
Shop, play and win. Purchase Laknor products worth 2 Oman Riyals from Rafiq.om or through the app and win 3 iPhones and 3 PlayStations every week. Rafiq, you order, we deliver.
Welcome back to TTV. You're watching Midday Update. Now from our international desk. Global COVID-19 deaths surpassed 880,000 mark on Sunday, according to the Center for Systems Science and Engineering, known as CSSE, at Johns Hopkins University. The global deaths from the coronavirus reached 880,779, with a total of more than 26,951,838 cases worldwide, the CSSE data showed. The United States remains the worst hit nation by the pandemic, with 6,262,989 cases and 188,711 deaths, accounting for more than 1/5 of the global death toll. Brazil recorded 4,123,000 cases and 126,203 deaths, both second only to the United States. However, India reported the world's third most highest cases and deaths, which stood at 4,113,811 and 70,626 respectively. Other countries with more than 30,000 fatalities include Mexico, Britain, Italy, and France. Kuwaiti banking sector would continue to face pressure in terms of profitability and asset quality for the rest of the year due to the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, the Kuwait Financial Center Markaz reported on Monday. The pandemic is expected to add considerable strain to Kuwait's banking sector in 2020 and 2021, the report said. The Kuwaiti government has extended benefit measures for small and medium-sized enterprises. However, the onus of loan origination, administration, and due diligence checks fall on banks, exacerbating operational risk, it said. The Marcus report highlighted that gross non-performing loans, known as NPLs, are expected to shoot up to 4.7% in 2020, up from 1.8% in 2019, and defaults are likely to be more in sectors such as real estate, where the financial leverage of some borrowers may be relatively large. However, Kuwaiti banks have the highest loan loss allowances of all countries of Gulf Cooperation Council, which provides buffers for the bank to absorb higher unexpected losses, it said. According to the report, the outlook for Kuwait banking could change under the conditions, including the provision of additional fiscal stimulus to assuage the economic damage, rebound in oil prices, active privatization measures, and aggressive reforms on the upside, an increase in virus infection caseload, return of lockdown restrictions, and further deterioration of economic activity on the downside. In addition to that, Kuwait on Monday reported 805 new COVID-19 cases and 2 more deaths in the country, raising the tally of infections to 90,387 and the death toll to 546, the Health Ministry of Kuwait said in a statement. The British government's chief Brexit negotiator David Frost has said that his government is unafraid to walk away from the post-Brexit trade talks with the European Union if the regional bloc does not compromise on major issues, including fisheries and state aid rules. This time we won't blink, Frost told the Mail newspaper on Sunday. He continued saying that we came in after a government and negotiating team that had blinked and had its bluff called at critical moments, and the EU had learned not to take our words seriously. So, a lot of what we are trying to do this year is to get them to realize that we mean what we say and they should take our position seriously. Britain ended its EU membership on January 31st, but it's still following EU rules during the transition period until December 31st to enable a permanent future trade deal to be reached. During this period, Britain would have to pay into EU funds but have no say in laws imposed by Brussels. Frost made the remarks as the trade talks are to resume on Tuesday in London, with both sides still having differences on issues such as fishing and the level of taxpayer support Britain will be able to provide for businesses, also referred to as state aid rules. British Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab said the week ahead was a wake-up call for the EU, adding that the EU's best moment to strike a deal is now. Both sides want a deal agreed next month in order to have it signed off by politicians on both sides of the Channel by the end of the transition period on December 31st. The upcoming talks in London are expected to mark the final phase of the negotiations, with Frost's team calling for more realism from the EU side to break the deadlock. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison has announced a deal to acquire more than 84 million doses of potential coronavirus vaccines. Morrison, Health Minister Greg Hunt, and Karen Andrews, Minister for Industry, Science and Technology, on Monday announced vaccine deals with the University of Queensland and Australian biotechnology company CSL, and also with the University of Oxford and pharmaceutical giant AstraZeneca. Under the deals, which are worth a combined 1.7 billion Australian dollars, which is about 1.2 billion US dollars, Australia will receive the first doses of candidate vaccines being developed by the universities if trials prove successful. Morrison said in a statement issued on Monday that Australians will gain free access to a COVID-19 vaccine in 2021 if trials prove successful. He also added that by securing the production and supply agreements, Australians will be among the first in the world to receive a safe and effective vaccine should it pass late-stage testing. There are no guarantees that these vaccines will prove successful. However, the agreement puts Australia at the top of the queue if our medical experts give the vaccines the green light. Under the agreement, more than 84.8 million vaccine doses will be provided for the Australian population, with early access to 3.8 million doses of the University of Oxford vaccine in January and February 2021. On this note, we have come to the end of the show for today with both updates from our local and international news your way. But we'll be back again tomorrow with more latest updates from local and international desks. So stay tuned and keep watching TTV.
You've just heard the live feed from the TTV studios on TFM 95.4. Let's talk.